America is by no means a stranger to political violence. Since time immemorial, moronic cracker retards have been reading the works of history's biggest losers, the fascists, and interpreting their ideology to its logical conclusion. They generally utilize America's Second Amendment protection rights to brutally massacre toddlers and babies. But suddenly, we got a new type of terrorist on the scene. An old school type of terrorist. An old school type. The original terrorist. First up on the docket is Sir Thomas Crooks III, the boy who shot Trump in the ear and killed firefighter Cory Camperatore. Now, depending on what side of the political aisle you fall on, you probably have a very different opinion on who exactly this freaky little fella is. Those of you who lean a little to the right, well, you guys really don't talk about this guy at all. Also put that. If you're a liberal, you probably think Crooks is some kind of secret Republican operative who shot Trump so that he could win the election. If you're left of center, you probably think he was some type of never Trump Republican who just really wasn't fucking with the president. Oh, not yet. The president to be. But I think you're all wrong. I've got this honky all figured out. This motherfucker right here was a special type of political persuasion that exists really only in America. The radical centrist. A remnant of a certain brand of politics that ruled the roost of YouTube when Mr. Crooks was about 13 years old. Many have called into question this particular interview with a Latino Republican classmate of Thomas Crooks, as it's pretty clear this falls right into the right-wing narrative that leftists are brutal, barbaric, violent demons. However, I believe he's fully telling the truth. One look at this guy, I could tell he was a big debate head. This guy had no heartfelt political beliefs whatsoever. He was more concerned with seeming like he did by constantly being contrarian and fighting others. Basically, my theory was that he was destiny. And what motivates men like this more than any political belief or theory? That's correct. Punan. That's right. I'm pretty sure Mr. Crooks had a thing for Latinas. Actually, I'm almost positive.
And I'm Hispanic, and I'm for Trump. And he said, "Well, you're Hispanic, so shouldn't you hate Trump?" And I was like,
Thomas was not a true Republican.
Great. I mean, he's a great president. And he called me stupid, or insinuated that I was stupid. He's like, "Well, that's kind of stupid."
This love was a principal motivating factor, at least this is my opinion, that led him to make the decisions he later would. Armed with nothing but his father's gun and an unshakable love for las niñas, Crooks waited atop a parking garage for the Orange Man himself to grace the stage. The rest is history. Crooks let off 8 shots into the crowd. However, he could not shoot for shit, and luckily only killed one guy, who probably was not the intended target. Then, after forgetting about their jobs for actual several minutes, for hours, they just let the guy get up there, the Secret Service finally decided to kick in, and they popped little Crooksy's balloon. Next up, you know him, you love him, the Italian stallion, the scoliosis savant, Luigi Mangione. As the leaves changed color and the cool, brisk wind of winter rolled into the American Northeast, something else also rolled in. From Minnesota, in came Brian Thompson, CEO of United Healthcare, chilling in the city outside of his hotel, ready to go attend an investors meeting for the company. Brian would just, for no reason, Out of nowhere, he would get spun around. And looking right into his eyes, he found a sultry, sexy Italian man staring him down. He would try to beg for his life, but alas.
Denied! Sit down!
Luigi, allegedly, pumped his ass full of lead until no amount of healthcare could reunite him. But unlike Trump and Crooks, nobody in the immediate vicinity gave a single fuck, allowing Luigi, allegedly, to slip into Central Park and then onto a bus to Pennsylvania, where some loser turned him in based on a highly pixelated image of Luigi allegedly rizzing the fuck out of the hostile desk clerk. The police then discovered the same clothes, exact highly unique firearm, and a note detailing all of his motives on Luigi's person. Oof. Bad luck. And then the world went on. Until just recently, when Tyler Robinson would unite the lessons of his predecessors together to create the perfect plan. He woke up on September 10th, 2025, kissed his beautiful trans girlfriend square on the mouth, and left the house with one of his multiple guns, one that belonged to his grandfather. He took a 4-hour drive to the heart of the great Mormon faith, performing the Mormon Hajj, if you will, and sat atop a garage 208 yards away from Charlie Kirk's Prove Me Wrong tent. The first of many incredible ironies. And as the infamous debates began, Charlie was asked, how many trans mass shooters have there been? Get ready, y'all. Kirk replied, sadly, far too many. The debatee then asked, how many mass shootings have taken place in the U.S.? Kirk would try and put his interlocutor in a bit of a gotcha situation. A classic 1-2 punch. Crooks would have undoubtedly cooked him with facts and logic in this situation, I'm sure. But he asks, counting or not counting gang violence? We would never get to hear the answer. Charlie wouldn't even get the chance to say a few cooler words to be remembered by, as he blinked and woke up in the land of eternal hellfire. A tweaking old man in the crowd distracted authorities long enough for Tyler to get away. Finally, a flawless hit. Marlowe, O. Henry, Shakespeare himself. Trust me, they are literally all kicking themselves, jealous that they did not come up with this fucking plot. Tyler then jumped off the roof, threw his gun in the woods, and drove 4 hours back home. Just in time to make Discord jokes with his boys about the wild murder he just committed. Allegedly. But of course, the fact that we know Mr. Robinson's name at all should tell you that he fucked up somewhere. And fucked up he did. By doing one of the most silly and stupid things you could possibly do. Confess your sins in a Protestant church. Bro, what in tarnation are you thinking? And shut the fuck up, yes, Mormons are Protestant. And of course, as heretics have no fear of divine judgment, since if they... Anyway, the priest who received his confession immediately snitched to Tyler's dad, who turned his son into the police, even following the governor's declaration that the shooter would be executed. Horrible fucking dad. Anyway, as I went over before, these three fellas do not exactly fit the bill of the typical American political shooter. Why are white boys evolving towards left-leaning style assassinations? Well, for Mr. Crooks, I've laid that out earlier. Bro's intense love for the Latin woman drove him past his comfortable suburban life and led him to choose, of all targets for his frustrations and depression, the president-to-be, instead of what folks like him usually choose, you know. But for Luigi, the story is a bit more complicated, as this little wop was about as far from the ideal American shooter as you could possibly be. A lifelong pussy getter, Luigi, and I hate to say this about Earth's greasiest nationality, is indeed sexy as fuck. The grandson of Baltimore World War II vet and millionaire businessman Nicholas Mangione. This motherfucker was literally a real-life Dark Academia book talk character. However, unlike most straight dudes with a Goodreads, he actually read some of that shit. As Luigi got older, he hurt his back, and his reading list slowly morphed as he searched for coping mechanisms to deal with his injury. As even with literally every single privilege a brother could ask for, bro was still fucked. And well, let's just say there's a reason America likes its people dumb. Luigi realized if ever there was a man who could gun down mass murderer Brian Thompson and get away with it, it was him. Thus, he began his plan. He 3D printed his own suppressed pistol and made a choice Tyler, praise and blessings be upon him, would emulate to great effect during his own situation, inscribing the bullet casings used in the shooting. In Luigi's case, this was on 3 separate casings. Each one had a single inscription: delay, depose, and deny. And then everybody celebrated. Much to the chagrin of the American media and business establishment, nobody was sad for record-breaking American serial killer Brian Thompson. In fact, they loved it. Even more when they saw the sexy little suspected shooter. One man who got a little bit too inspired by Luigi was, of course, St. Tyler of Utah, who took up the sword against Charles Kirk. And now is probably as good a time as any to introduce Mr. Kirk himself. The son of construction company owner, who I could look up, but I don't give a single fuck what his name really is, who did construction work for billionaire Foster Freeze, that's fucking supervillain ass name, who took a liking to the then 18-year-old Charlie and his predilection for arguing with liberals and leftists on college campuses. Freeze then funded Charlie's project and gave him a job trying to rig high school student government elections to promote libertarianism. But it was 2013. People were slowly beginning to realize just how retarded libertarians really are. And Kirk was forced to morph into an anti-abortion, pro-Trump, Christian Salafist with some of the craziest opinions you've ever heard. Now, did he actually believe any of this shit? I personally don't think so. I think he needed to keep himself relevant, and he constantly struggled with that. He was always looking for new ways to become what he was when he was like 20 years old. But it does not matter at all. The effect is still exactly the same. His fans relentlessly harassed leftists, liberal, and just random minorities, sent them death threats, jumped innocent civilians in the street, and of course even shot peaceful protesters to death. In America, this behavior is nothing new. But what is new is doing something about it. About a week beforehand, Tyler heard Kirk would be in Utah and planned out a little Luigi-style plot of his own. Staining his grandfather's gun, he engraved "Bella Ciao, hey fascist, catch this. Notices bulge a woo." And, well, I'm gonna let Spencer Cox take this last one.
A third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO.
Facts. So true, bro. Now, I've already mentioned Tyler's girlfriend, whose identity put her squarely in the crossfire of Kirk and his fans' nonsense. And Tyler was coming to the table with levels of love and allyship that the casual gawk enjoyer could never even dream of comprehending. To all my ladies out there, romance is not dead. Some of us still got it. I'm sure some of you are catching what I'm throwing down here. New types of pussy has taught the white man empathy. Sure, Luigi's injury was the main cause for his radicalization, but would he have even known how to read if the motivation for Punan did not override his urge to not read? Let's just say there's a reason race mixing and queer shit used to be illegal. Because it's too powerful. There's no way to control the masses when they understand the joys of a trans Latina in thigh highs. For all the liberals out there, you have two choices. Take the red pill and frolic through dandelions and lamb pastures with us political violence enjoyers. Or condemn the jokes and slowly find yourself advocating for a return to the Jim Crow era. Thank you for watching.